What's up, y'all? Quidman the Bold here, and today I will be putting into a tier list all of the. That's not a proper sentence. I'll be tier listing all of the Alien and Predator movies, as well as ranking them. So, and I'll be doing that in release order. So let's get into this with the original Predator. In my opinion, the best of any of these movies. I'm going to put it into this. I don't know why. Let's make this peak. No, not mass. Peak. Yeah, Alien has this sort of vibe that um, has really sort of been unmatched. A couple of things have tried and sort of succeeded to um, the follow-up Alien, but at the same time, nothing really beats the vibe that the Nostromo had and the crew. Definitely felt like the most real bunch of characters besides maybe the crew from Predator. Getting into the next one, Aliens. This is going into peak as well, but below Alien. Aliens is really, really good. There's not much I have to say about it. I just prefer the I just prefer some things from Alien. Like I prefer the horror, I prefer the vibe of the Nostromo and whatnot, as opposed to Aliens. And I prefer the crew as well, since these guys are just a bunch of nameless, faceless Marines, save for 5 or 6. So yeah, I need to go up there. Predator, I'm going to put in between Alien and Aliens. Now I get that this movie has some dated bits to it, but I don't really care. It's still a classic for. It's still a classic. It has been a classic and will continue to be a classic. I don't know what I'm talking about. It's a classic for a reason. It's still really good. Um, its effects, most of them hold up, and yeah, there's a couple of things that are a little bit dated, like fighting, what was it, communists or something? I think I remember seeing that. Let me just check and make sure. Yep, communist insurgents. So this was definitely a bit of a period piece. I think that is this supposed to take place in the 60s or something, or 80s? Either way, I digress. Um, all of the Predator movies do a really good job of showing how movies in general have evolved from the 80s to the 2020s, and Predator shows how 80s movies work. Now, moving on, we have Alien 3, which is an unforgivable piece of shit. I tried. I watched the assembly cut fairly recently for the first time, and I hated it with all of my soul. It it took what little wins we've gotten from Alien and Aliens, squashed them in favor of in favor of a cast of characters that we barely cared about. I will give it props because it did have some. It had a couple of really good performances from Sigourney Weaver, which I mean is a given, and the dude who played the Doctor. Let me just check and make sure who that was. Charles Dance as Clemens. Yeah, he was really good. I really, really liked his character a lot. But besides that, this movie is pretty unforgivable. Oh, wait. besides including the new like variants of the alien, which is interesting. Oh, and by the way, I should say that I will be potentially getting into spoilers for every movie besides Alien Romulus, um, because Alien Romulus is still in theaters. It deserves to not be spoiled. Go see it on the big screen. It was great. Um, but yeah, this Alien 3 sucks. It's going into the bottom of the barrel. Predator 2. Predator 2 is going into either bottom of good or top of mid. I'm not sure which. I am going to put this at the top of mid. Because Predator 2, wait, no, bottom of good. Bottom of good. Bottom of good. Because Predator 2, a little bit derivative of the first, and as I was saying earlier, these are like period pieces. This is how a lot of movies felt in the 90s, I imagine. Which is like, it has this cop buddy movie feel to it. At least vaguely there. Um, but I cannot discredit how much this added to the Predator lore. This was a pretty good sequel in terms of like, okay, now we have a Predator doing Predator things set in the city, which is interesting. Then we have the whole thing at the end, which was also really interesting, with the like pistol and shit, the pistol shit. Uh-huh. But yeah, this movie isn't like top tier or anything, but it's still solid and it's worth a watch. Alien Resurrections. I watched this movie yesterday, and it's not quite unforgivable because Alien 3 destroyed what came before it. Alien Resurrection was a fun, bad movie that is standalone. And I mean, like, the characters were mostly pretty boring. The idea of having Sigourney Weaver as a clone is so fucking weird. But this movie is so far out there that I just cannot take it seriously. It is so funny. They had a couple of ideas that I liked, but weren't executed very well. Like the idea of humans trying to capture eggs to forcibly breed out of humans and get aliens. That was interesting, but it everything was either interesting, but was only barely there, or just weird. But yeah, that will go into bad with value. Next up, AVP, thank you ads for making me scroll down. I would put this... I'm going to put this in mid, because there is a solid amount of this movie that is nothing. That is just waiting and waiting and waiting. Once we finally get to the actual aliens and predators duking it out, it's a great movie. It's a fun time. But I couldn't say that I really cared when they were introducing the human characters, because they weren't terrible, I guess. They were all just like nameless faces. Save for like a couple whose names I can't even remember now. Well, I think it was Yutani in that movie. Was it Yutani? I think so. Let me check for just a second. Excuse me. Um, I thought that Utani was in AVP, but doesn't matter much anyways. Dude. Okay, cool. I can finally go down here now. Ooh. So, AVP Requiem. I am going to put at Unforgivable, but above Alien 3, what happened to my format? God damn. This like get smaller or something? I don't think this got smaller. Thought I had this all the way down at the bottom corner. Damn it. Um, let's see. How can I fix this? Okay, and there's no scroller thing on the side for me to access. Cool. Cool. This should not be this hard. Okay, I think that's the best that we're getting, unfortunately. I am sorry. Um, but, going back to the actual tier list itself, AVP Requiem is really, really bad. Um, there are a couple of cool ideas, which I which I put it above Alien 3 for that reason. Like, the Pred Alien is badass, and definitely, it and Wolf are the best parts of the movie. And I just wish that we had more of that and less of the typical slasher characters that made it the human cast. And this movie was so fucking dark, and the fucking face-hugged kid. I'm just preaching to the choir, I guess, because these are complaints that pretty much everyone who's seen the movie has had. So we'll just put it in Unforgivable tier and move on and hope that we can all forget about that movie entirely. Now, for a much better movie, we have Predators, which I will put in good. Predators, um, Predators, Predators, Predators. What do I have to say about Predators? Well, I really like the fact that this is the first, like, standalone Predator movie that has multiple of them in it. I like the different characters and how they interact with both each other and the predators. I like that this takes place on their home world. So this is somewhere away from Earth, away from all of the like jungles and shit. Well, no, incorrect, because this isn't a jungle. My bad. But away from all the like earthly things, and we get to see a lot more of like the predator weaponry. I think I remember that being a part of the movie. Yeah, I just really liked how much this added. I liked all the characters. I liked I liked the predators. I liked a lot about this movie. So I will be putting this in good tier. Not quite great, but it's close. Prometheus. Prometheus, Prometheus, Prometheus. You are so hard to rank here. Because you're definitely going in the mid, but I'm not sure if I want to put you above Alien vs. Predator, or if I want to put you below it. Because Prometheus has good ideas, but it has terrible execution. So if it had better execution, if the characters were more interesting, if it was presented a little bit better, if it had a little bit more excitement to it, I would put it. I'd probably put it in good, if not great. But the execution flopped so horribly that I'm going to put this in mid, and I think I'm going to just put this below AVP Because AVP at least had some fun factor to it. This had some cool ideas, some cool concepts with horrible execution. I really do like the idea of um, there being a god and it absolutely hating us, as, um, and then trying to go and make us go extinct. It was interesting. Um, I I just wish that that Scott answered like he didn't try to answer where humanity came from. He just tried to answer like why that derelict ship was there, which I don't remember if he really answered that or not, because it's been a hot minute since I've seen the movie. But I do remember it being boring and confusing. And I don't know why they had to add that black dude. That felt like they just added another layer of things. Just stuff to add. And I have decided to include a game in this list, Alien Isolation. Partially because I just finished it and I want to talk about it, and partially because it's so cinematic that it might as well be an Alien movie. I'm going to put this in great. This is an amazing video game. I put it as a 10 out of 10. Because what is going on here? Why is this going further down? Oh wait, no, that's because of that. I understand now. I understand. So I made this way too small because these are deciding to get bigger. Gotcha. Let's see what I can do here. I'm going to just make a bad tier. And I'm going to move this to the top of that. And I'm going to delete this row. So now you can see everything again. Woo! But yeah, Alien Isolation is so fucking good. It has pretty much everything that you could hope for in an Alien game if you're looking for a survival horror game. Because the alien itself is so cool. It's a bit terrifying. It's just incredible. The set pieces are spectacular. Um, Sometimes the game can be a little bit grating, but I'm not sure if that was just me failing to prepare as much as it was just the alien failing to go away after 5 minutes of looking around the same area. It's probably a little bit of both, but the graphics in this game have held up so well after 10 years. Since this year is the 10-year anniversary for the game, this the graphics felt like it could have come out like last year or something. The frame rate isn't as good. I played it on a PS5, and the frame rate on that was like what 30 FPS. It felt like it definitely wasn't a smooth 60, but it doesn't matter much because it's still a great game, and I highly recommend it to any fans of survival horror and any fans of like the Alien franchise, any fans of sci-fi in general. Go play this game. It'll give you a solid 10 to 20 hours. I think I got like 25, 26 hours out of it. And it was just peak. It was great. Alien Covenant. I'm gonna put this in mid. I would have put this in the bad tier, in the like middle tier, but since I had to get rid of that, I'm putting this in mid. Now, Alien Covenant. One of the best things I can give for this movie is that it looks good, and it doesn't. Oh, and David. David was pretty cool. Between both of these movies, the only character I found really interesting was David, because David is David and David is interesting. Um, I really did enjoy the like. I did enjoy the like new alien world. I enjoyed the how like the little black goo things came to play. I enjoyed the new alien hybrids. That's something that I've liked about the alien movies is that they're always trying to like expand and expand and expand and make the hype and make new hybrids because the xenomorphs at this point they're cool, but they don't have that same terror factor as they did in the 70s and 80s. But I really did like parts of this movie, but the characters for being scientists were so incompetent throughout that I had a hard time not like laughing. And Tennessee is so fucking funny as a character because this man is supposed to be like a scientist, he's supposed to be like a colonizer, and he's wearing a fucking cowboy hat. Has the name Tennessee. He's just just such a massive stereotype. It's hard not to laugh. Um, but yeah, the characters were not very good. Um, the plot was okay. Um, but yeah, it's just mid tier for me. The Predator. It gets to go in bad because it's just bad. Why did they weaponize autism? That makes no sense. The movie, I just I don't know what I'm supposed to say about this movie. It feels like a Marvel movie. It feels like a really bad Marvel movie. And I remember that this movie I saw when I was really young. I saw its poster up on my I saw its like Blu-ray up on my store shelves, and I would look at that and be like, "Oh wow, that looks cool." And I went and saw all the other Predator movies, and I'm like, "Oh wow, that's pretty cool." And then I saw this, and I'm like, "God damn it!" It's even worse that it was made by Shane Black, who should have been able to tell what went into a good Predator movie since he was a part of the original Predator, but instead he made the worst standalone Predator movie that we have gotten to date. I don't understand how he had such a major fuck up, such a major malfunction, but he did, and it's going into bad tier because of that. It's dog shit. It's the utter dog shit. But I don't think it really ruined much that came before it. I can easily see this as like a standalone movie that I block out of canon. So for that, it's going with Alien Resurrections. It would be in the middle tier too, but I had to get rid of that, so it's down here. Prey. Prey is great. It's just great. Do I want to put this in? I'll put this right here because I do prefer Alien. Now, Predator is hold on. Prey, not Predator. Prey, 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 Prey. Prey. I haven't seen since it dropped, but I remember it being really, really good. It was a little bit similar to the Predator, but that doesn't matter very much. And since it's basically revived the franchise, it brought it back up from the brink of extinction, and I believe the director's name is Dan Trachtenberg. I probably butchered his last name. But I really hope that we get more I really hope that we get more Predator movies from him, because this movie feels like it was made with love. It oozes that. Um, it's just really fucking great. It oozes passion. That's the word I'm looking for. Passion. Um, Feels like it was made by a group of people that wanted to make a Predator movie, that had seen the original and grew up with the original and went, wow, that's great. I want to be a part of that someday. And they got to be a part of that. And it wound up being in the, like, top 5 movies of the whole entire franchise, both of them. And now it's time for the latest movie in the Alien franchise, Alien Romulus. And I'm going to... What the hell? Okay. This is weird, but I'm going to roll with it. I am going to put this in bottom of great tier. Now, I generally prefer this movie to Prey, but at the same time, there is one problem that I have with this movie, and it's that bit of nostalgia bait in it, because there's so many like lines of dialogue that are ripped from the older Alien movies that makes it feel a bit more like a legacy sequel. What the hell's going on there? Alright. We'll be right back. I return. Okay, so Alien Romulus. There is a certain point in the movie where a certain character says a very famous line, but deadpan, and something that shouldn't have been brought back for that scene. It should have been something that was original, but doesn't matter. Time for me to sing this movie's praises to oblivion. I loved the fact that Fede Alvarez wanted to make this a practical set, a practical movie, because it shows. This movie is gorgeous. Everything feels so real. It feels like it could have come straight from the... It feels like it could have been made straight in the 80s, if with the effects of a modern day, with the effects of modern day VFX. And the cast isn't like the best, but it's still pretty good. I still enjoyed watching this group of characters, and they acted their asses off. And I have to commend this movie for bringing in a group of like fairly unknown people, instead of resorting to a bunch of... Oh wait, and for Prey too. They brought back the thing, the thing that Alien did, and yeah, there were probably a couple of people between both movies that are well known, but overall, it's a cast of relatively unknown people that I hope are propelled into stardom because they acted their asses off. And some people, I'm not going to get into very much spoilers here, I'll be intentionally vague, but some people don't like the last, like, 10, 20 minutes of the movie. They think it's, no. I guess that they thought it was, like, weird or something. It's been fairly divisive. I've only seen the movie once, granted, but I loved the last 20 minutes. I loved what went on there. I just thought it was really, really good. Moving on from that, into things I can actually talk more about. Every set piece is great. the reason why they're there makes sense. Um, and they acted like smart and rational people throughout most of it. I mean, yes, occasionally they made a couple of dumb decisions, but it didn't feel like it was straight out of a like regular slasher movie where all they make are dumb decisions. The dumbest decisions that they make, you could rationalize that it was under like duress and panic and stress. Whereas in, say, Alien Covenant, yeah, there's a scene like that, but at the same time, it's so bad, and the characters make such horrible decisions throughout, that it's hard for me to give that one a pass comparatively to this one. So, um, something that I've also noticed, as a quick side note before I end the video, is that both of these franchises have gone through fairly similar like stages where you have the originals, they're the best, and then you move on to the like 90s area where things start feeling fairly weird, fairly 90s, but at the same time Predator 2, I'm just gonna say, exemplifies and is good, but that's why I'm not gonna say that they're bad or anything, because this one is an exception from that. Then we move on in like the 2000s with AVP, and then we have the 2010s where we have the like fairly new, but also fairly old, but also fairly like semi-bad or semi-derivative movies. Like Predators is good, but it's still a little bit derivative. The Predator was just straight up bad. Prometheus and Alien Covenant were a bit bad and also a bit good. But and then we have the most, and then we have the best example in the 2020s with both Prey and um, Alien Romulus, which are directed by fresh faces, which are directed by people who I believe that Trachtenberg has a great amount of love for the Predator franchise, so I'm going to say that directed by people who like the franchise, who enjoy it, who care about it, with a cast of relatively unknown people, which are essentially just like passion projects by fans for fans, which are probably like the most derivative of the originals, but it doesn't matter because they actually managed to be good enough to be in the tier bordering the originals, which most of these movies really aren't. I could make a case for Predators, but I'm not going to. So, this is my finalized tier list. Well, as of this, as of Alien Romulus releasing. And I hope that you guys will let me know down in the comments below how you would rank all of the Alien movies, because and Predator movies, because I'm interested to hear your guys' opinions. Anyway, that's my tier list. I hope you guys enjoy.